Hey, this is Chris Cowan with Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears TV, and we're back with another episode of the Weekly Report, 60 minutes of all the bullshit that we can fit into a program we like to call the Weekly News. And I'm here with my buddy Connie coming in from Colorado today. Kim, what's up, buddy?
Hi there. How are you? It's actually riding weather today.
Oh, I know. The fall is setting in.
You never know, but yeah, this is it, man. It's riding weather.
The fall is setting in. It's beautiful here. If you got those shovel heads, man, break them out because this is the time. This is what they like.
I know when it's nice and cool. I always try to go for my birthday's at the end of this month on the 22nd, so mark that on your calendar, by the way, so you can send me something cool. But I always try to go for a ride. I used to go for a ride with my buddy Tattoo John. We used to go up to Estes Park, and then it's like always freezing cold. So I'm going to go for a ride this year for sure, but I just don't know where. Maybe not exactly on my birthday, but right around then. It's always good to get out on the kickstart the old bike, make you feel alive.
Yeah.
You know,
So hey, just to mention to you guys that are tuning in right now, we are on Facebook Live and we're monitoring that stream. So if you want to put some comments up there, we'll get to them as we can. We actually have added in some production this week, and we have a call-in number that we're going to let you. We'll share that with you a little bit later on and maybe take some calls. But I think we're going to take a couple minutes here and start going through some of the topics this week. And Ken, I'm going to give the floor to you to start off with.
Okay. Where do we start? Hey, let's start with Barber.
Right on.
Start with Barber Vintage Festival.
Yep.
So Barber Vintage Festival. Too much caffeine. Super excited. Is happening this weekend, and So I've never been there. I've only heard great things about it. Have you ever been there, Chris?
I haven't myself either. I'm ashamed to say I've been to a lot of different things like Ole and Rhinebeck and stuff, but I haven't been to Barber.
I know. I've heard it's crazy good. Brian Fuller is kind of their unofficial ambassador down there on the B-Twin side. But I've heard it's just a great kind of weekend of racing. It's got that kind of Sons of Speed, Salt Flats kind of feel, just in the sense that there's a lot of people just having fun out there. It's not super competitive, but people just kind of showing off their old iron.
Typically, man, I've been spending a lot of time with the guys from the Cherokee chapter of the AMCA, and typically, as a whole, the AMCA group, or just old bike guys in general, have that laid back. They're there digging on what they do, and it's it's not as commercial and crazy as some of the other shit we go to. Yeah,
and I think it's Alabama. Is that right?
Yes.
Barberville, Alabama. Yeah.
Yep.
So, if anybody's in that part of the world, I would recommend you go check that out. There's going to be some great bikes there this weekend. So.
Yes, sir. So hey, listen. Last week, I want to hit on this real quick. Last week we talked real quick about some of the stuff that happened at the AIM Expo, and one thing that I left out that was a really, really nice feature for me. At the AIM Expos, you get to see the AMA Hall of Fame induction, at least in the last two that I was at, and one in particular this time was Ed Lojack from my neck of the woods. And Ed was probably, he inducted him in. We got to see the AMA people a nice pat on the back for what they did with that, because it was a really good program.
Yeah, that's super cool. I honestly, award shows not my thing, because usually they're something that I'm not super interested in, and so it's not something that I typically am pumped up about. And you told me, you're like, no, dude, you've got to go. Like, this is, and it was epic, man. Seeing all those people there, and the passion that they have for this sport, and really unifying the sport. I think that's the piece. It was kind of all walks of life from the sport. And it's, I don't know, it was really good to see. It was really great to see people up there just congratulating each other and also, really getting the respect that they deserve for being, in this industry for decades and decades and decades and making huge contributions.
I think that's one of the best things about it too, is when you get to hear these inductees' stories and you realize that, like, the passion and the drive that comes from that, it's really the common thread of all this. Doesn't matter if it's in, sports, it doesn't matter if it's in street motorcycle, which manufacturer you subscribe to. The one common theme is that you have to have passion to be here, and the dedication, like, it's generation after generation, the same kind of stories of guys that lived out of their cars and went from town to town to town doing this stuff, so really nice to get that. It gives you a great perspective on this industry.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yep, 100%. Next, let's I think going right into that, I think we can go right into V-Twin Expo being canceled. That was, I mean, we knew about it last week, but it hadn't been officially announced. And so we kind of held our tongues on that. It's a bummer.
It really is, man. It really is. I mean, you and I both talked about this when the rumors came out, and for such a long time, it was more than a staple. It was absolutely a pillar, a foundation of everything that we did. You knew once a year for sure you were going to get there. You were going to see the people you needed to see. You were going to get stuff done. For the general public, the dealers, the mom and pop shops, they got to see people that they might otherwise never run into in this industry, and to see that thing go away it's a sign of the times, but it's a really, really sad thing to announce.
It really is, I really feel like you and I kind of cut our teeth there, I mean, that was, over a decade ago, that it was really booming. And just, looking back on that and kind of the times that we had there, and I'm being a little nostalgic, but also kind of all the connections that I made there and the people that I got to meet, like you said, that I wouldn't have normally met. And then just having a good time talking to people. It was, I definitely have some fond memories there.
Yeah. And I mean, really, when you think about it too, like, what is going to replace that? I mean, AIM Expo is doing fantastic. The IMS shows are kicking ass, but as far as, like, specifically for the V-Twin community and the V-Twin industry and the custom part of our world, like, it's going to leave a great big hole. It really is. And I mean, as an industry, we're going to have to get together and start thinking about what the solution is for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm all for just taking AIM Expo and really making that into a multi-dealer platform. I think that they've been really, I think the V-Twin industry has been hesitant to really embrace that, but I think we need, we're all in this together, and I feel like we need to just really rally the troops and get people there no matter what, because it was a really, I thought it was a really good, really informative time this year. It definitely didn't have the kind of the after party atmosphere, and maybe we're just getting old and we're just old farts and don't do that. But I mean, but at the same time, I feel like we could have, there's so many people that are close to there that they could have just come by and it could have made for a better V-Twin kind of showing. And I think over the years, I think it's just going to get better and better. That's just my feeling.
It has too. I mean, I've been working with Bob Kay and Jeff Nager and in and over the last few years and watching what they've done, a little bit at a time, they keep bringing more and more V-Twin to the plate with that thing. And it really has. And I mean, the one thing when you say it doesn't really have the after party kind of feel, what you can say is for anybody who's been to shows like EICMA, it's a lot more like EICMA now, and like in Europe, man, their industry shows for motorcycling are off the hook. So the fact that we have a show body that's starting to put on events for our industry here in the States that mimics some of those shows and the production that goes into them, it's awesome. And I mean, they're interested. They're interested in hearing what everybody needs. You know what I mean? So it's a good cue.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do the Hog's Blood thing, just because, why not? Let's see if anybody's actually out there.
Right on.
Listening. Watching.
So here's the deal. For our listeners on Facebook, we're going to put this up here real quick. Just for you guys on Facebook, Ken has a hog's blood oil change for the first person that says, "Give me the oil," in a comment on Facebook. All you got to say is, "Give me the oil." Ken's going to hook you up. He got 4 quarts, I think, of hog's blood he's going to send out to you.
You bet. Yeah, so they were set up at AIM Expo. They were nice enough to send us a case of their oil. It's fully synthetic 4-stroke motor oil, revolutionary additive technology, heavy-duty protection. So it's actually for, it's multi-use. It's engine, primary chain case, and transmission. And these guys have been doing, Blood Lubricants has been around for a long time. I was talking to the guys over there. I think they said they've been in the lubrication oil business for 25, 30 years. Yeah, I know. I said lubrication business. I don't know what else you call it.
I don't know, but
lubricants?
I want in on the lubrication business.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's got, so these are the benefits on the back. It exceeds OEM warranty requirements, maximizes performance with increased horsepower and torque, reduced wear resulting in longer lasting engine life, designed for HD engine, chain case transmission, improved fuel economy, not detrimental for engine break-in, and helps engine run cooler in extreme heat. So, I mean, with that,
4 quarts of that. 4 quarts to the first person that says, "Give me the oil" on Facebook Live.
That's right. All right.
So we'll check back on that in a minute here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thanks to the guys from Hog's Blood. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem like, good company. Got, kind of a mom and pop, so to speak, but also have the technology to kind of back it up. So that's always good to see.
So like you said, with fall approaching, man, it's time for fall riding, fall events. And last week we talked about Biketoberfest a little bit, and we brought up Billy Lane and the Sons of Speed, but there's actually another feature of that show that we should talk about real quick, and that's the Old Iron Bike Show, right?
Yeah, well, it's called, Buzz is calling it the Old Speed Show.
That's it.
And I'm going to give you the details here. I just got to pull it up real quick.
This thing has a full website and Facebook page and a Facebook event page. If you guys are looking for it, just search up about Old Speed Show at Sons of Speed.
Yep, and it's free admission just to the show. So it's in the parking lot of Sons of Speed at New Smyrna Speedway. Title sponsors Dennis Kirk, presented by American Iron. It's going to be held from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. October 21st, so same day as Sons of Speed, at New Smyrna Speedway. And it's open to all race motorcycles of any style or age. Road racers, dirt trackers, hill climbers, motocross, drag racers, etc. Plus hot rods, trucks, and any sort of cool handcrafted motorcycles. So, if you've got like a stock twin cam, probably don't bring it by. I don't know. I'm just saying you can, but, it's not really what they're after. But if you've got a, blown, drag racing Triumph from the 1970s or whatever, then that's probably the bike we're looking for.
Right on. So this is all backed by American Iron and Dennis Kirk, you said?
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. That should be good. It's nice. It's nice to see the community that's starting to get around this stuff that Billy's working on with the Sons of Speed.
Yeah, for sure. He's worked his butt off, and there's some great stuff going on. And then that day, they're doing. I think the races start at 3, and then you'll be able to buy tickets on site to go do that. So.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, I think some of the stuff that we're going to do today is kind of new and different too. Like I said, we finally have a call-in number because we sat down and did the homework for that, and we're actually going to be bringing in some guests today. And I think if it's okay with you, I'll probably work on this for a minute and see if we can bring our first guest in. Sure.
Do you want to work on that while I talk about the new Triumphs?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Triumph launched a couple new bikes. They're just kind of additions to their line. They've got a new Bonneville Speedmaster, which is it's kind of the latest. So it's a 1200cc It's on the bobber platform, but it doesn't look like the bobber. It's got kind of that Bonneville, that classic Bonneville look. It's a good looking bike. You know, it looks exactly like you would expect a Triumph to look. It's got, you know, it looks like a little bit fatter front tire, solo seat. It's a good, I mean, it's a good looking bike. And if it handles anything like the bobber that I rode, it'll be a blast for sure. So that's kind of that's one of the ones, and then the other one was it's called the Bobber Blackout, I believe. And so what they're doing is they're basically just blacking out the bike. They're doing kind of the night train version of it, where they're blacking the bike out, and it looks, you know, I think it looks good. And both of those, you know, they haven't actually put out a price yet for the U.S., but it sounds like they're going to come out kind of the first part of the year in 2018. So I think Chris put up some pictures of them, and you can kind of see the differences, you know, and the kind of the details and stuff that they're putting into it. And it, you know, it's cool stuff for sure.
I'm a big fan, man. I really am. Like since Triumph has gone like full ahead with that retro look in these Bonnevilles, it's brought back a lot of the bikes that I loved from when I was young, and I just think it's a real hit. I really do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they really took the styling cues, the retro styling cues, which I think they just realized, like, oh yeah, we just need to build on that more, because I think the more retro it looks, the better off they're going to be.
Okay, so our first guest today is not a stranger to any of you guys. He's had motorcycles in every damn magazine that there's ever been, and recently went through one of the hurricanes and had a real blow handed to him, wiped out his shop, wiped out a lot of his tools. But I'm going to bring in Bill Dodge from Bling Cycles, and we're going to talk to Bill about what's going on here in the week of motorcycles that it applies to him.
Hello?
Bill Dodge, how you doing, man? This is Chris and Ken, and you're on live with the Weekly Report.
Oh, I'm doing much better now, thank you.
Are you?
Life is good.
So, buddy,
I can't hear him at all.
Okay.
Just FYI. So if I can't hear him, I don't know if that means that the people on Facebook can't hear him or not.
Let me see. Let me check your audio levels, Bill. Talk for a second.
Okay. I'm here.
I
Can
got
you hear
him
me?
there.
Testing,
Yep.
1, 2.
I got him there. So we're going to move ahead, and hopefully everybody can hear you, and maybe Ken will hear in a little bit. So
Okay.
tell us about what happened, man. Tell us about what happened at the shop. So the hurricane comes in.
Oh, yeah. I thought I would be smart. I had about 35 bikes in there, and I was smarter than most people in the neighborhood, and I put a lot of them up real high, and everybody's kind of chuckling at me for putting them up 3 feet in the air, but that kind of saved me a little bit. 27 of the bikes were up high and a bunch of them down low, and I was kind of prepared, and all of a sudden there was 8 inches of water in there, and I didn't realize it was going to get that high or higher. So I got the electricity off and got dark, and then pretty soon there was 2 feet of water in there and plus. And to tell you the truth, I was lost. I didn't know what to do at that point. But I just kind of fought it. It was knocking over oil and zapped my welder and just started going crazy on me. But that's all kind of past me now. I don't know how to say it.
Well, here's the good thing that I want to talk about. So that's horrible, brother. My heart goes out to you. But
yeah, it was rough.
Immediately, a bunch of guys jump into action. You had, Paul from Bare Knuckle, Randy from St. Louis, Darren McKeag put some artwork together. Mitch and some guys got some T-shirts. Everybody starts reaching out to you. I mean, it was awesome. I was super proud to see all that.
It's amazing. And locally, Willie from Tropical and all the guys from there, and all shops everywhere, F&A Customs, everybody was at my shop that first week or two, week and a half, because I don't think I could have handled it myself. No, there's no possible way. pretty brutal. And to have that love come in, and I mean, you know me, and maybe some of the people out there know me, but I already have a pretty big fire in my heart for motorcycles, and now that fire is an inferno, bro. It's insane. With the love from my friends, I can. There's no words to really describe the love that these guys gave me. Paul, especially, right away, he made me walk through the place and tell me what was going on, and as hard as that was, my brother was there to hear it. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was a beautiful thing when Willie from Tropical come walking in with Luke, and they got a 28-inch pizza in one hand and a gallon of WD-40 in the other, and they're like, "What are we doing today, brother?" You know, Jason from Lakeland, he came in the same way, brought his employee with him, John, to help, and you know, they were just helping me get oil out of bikes and make sure what was due damage control, make sure what was hurt, because they weren't all up.
Yeah.
Probably lost about half a dozen or more of my own
Ken, your mic is feeding.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. I got it.
You still there, Bill?
Right yes, on. I am. I'm just so thankful for my brothers.
Oh, absolutely,
my
man.
brothers and sisters.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff that makes me proud of being part of this whole motorcycle culture. Is that's the code that goes on here. You know. Oh
yeah, it's a lot of them tell me I paid forward, but you couldn't pay forward for something like this. You know, it's just so amazing to love. I mean, from people that some don't even know me, and they just know of me, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing, you know. All I needed was a little chance so I could get back to work, and
right on.
Everybody in our world gave it to me.
Well, and you know what, man, you're not the kind of person. I've known you for a good many years now, and you're not the kind of person that, you know, things will keep you down, and that's with that storm right behind you. You had to make plans, and you had to head out to Tennessee to have an event. You had a motorcycle show going on in Tennessee last weekend, right after all of this chaos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival was our baby. Some friends, Carrie and Buck and myself and Beaner and Brett Rotten. You know, it was all our baby, and there's no way we could not do that. And it was just the outpouring of love there too. It was just an amazing rally. One of the best times a lot of us have ever had at a rally. We had motorcycle racing, but where we could all do it, not where it was just professional stuff. You know, where it was fun. Yeah. Everybody had a good time. The guys in the BC Moto Invitational, which was my part, was just absolutely amazing. Everybody was low key and just had a great time. Great time for all. It was really amazing.
Right on. So, Bill, you're one of... Somebody had an airplane.
I lost you.
There you go.
I lost you there.
So you're one of the two guests we're going to have on today, you and Will Ramsey, and you guys are both invited builders to the first ever In Motion show that's going on at the Lone Star Rally this year. Oh yeah, so excited, bro. Me and him were talking about it at the other show. We were riding together and talking about it. Man, this is going to be so awesome. I think it's pretty amazing. Somebody had a show where you, pardon me, sorry. I think it's pretty amazing. Like the collection of guys that we have, like. Everybody in that group is super, super talented and really about their craft, but they're all serious about riding motorcycles. Like each one of you individually, pretty much, I've been on some of the craziest roads in the country with, and I know that like if you have a bike that doesn't run and won't perform, it's useless. Yeah, it's useless. Exactly, and that's going to be the fun of it. I'm actually going to be riding my bike to the show as well as the test ride and all that stuff. So I am super excited, super excited. That's the stuff that we do. We finally have a show that does the way we do. You're asking for what we do every day. Right on. And we're really excited because we get to put our craft to work, but also we get to show that it's a rider, that it's something that, our customers all enjoy our bikes, and we get to portray that in your show, and I'm very excited about that. Right on. So Ken and I were just talking about the fact that everybody's starting to make their way south for Biketoberfest. And
Oh yeah.
you got anything going on? You got a shop party or anything that people can stop by and see you?
I do have a shop party. It's kind of more for the industry, but we have Willie's Tropical Tattoo going on. The shopper show there. It's a big deal.
Yep.
Very big deal. And actually, I'm right now getting some hats and stuff for Willie as a surprise to him. I hope he's not listening. For me to give to him towards the show. And I'm actually trying to get my bike together running today that I'm bringing for motion.
Right
So I'm
on.
excited. It's all going to be great. Yeah, Biketoberfest is on 100%, and we are excited.
Right on, man.
You might see a little junk on the side of the road from our trees that fell down, but we're all here.
Dig it. What can anybody send you anything? Do you need any help with anything else? I mean,
just the most thing that most people out there can do for us right now is show up at Biketoberfest if it's all possible.
there you go.
And support us in that. That is the big deal right now. Our town went through a lot, that whole area, and we're up and running and we're doing it. And we just need you guys to show up and support us. That's what we need, bro, more than
Right
anything.
on. Well, cool, Bill. Listen, man, thank you for the time today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to send everybody
I appreciate
out.
the opportunity.
Check them out at
Yeah.
Bling Cycles on Facebook. Stop in, go see the shop when you're down in Biketoberfest. Go to Biketoberfest, support some of these people. And Bill, we'll see you in Galveston next month.
We'll see you there, bro.
All right,
Thank
man.
you very much.
See you later, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so back with Chris and Ken.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't hear him at all.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
I think I probably figured it out. I think what I need to do is I just need to record it off my phone instead of trying to run everything through. So we'll figure it out.
I'm doing homework every night trying to get this stuff better. So
Yeah, and it is. It's getting better every week. So
right on.
complaints there. Should we do a little gear stuff? You want to do some gear reviews?
Yeah. What do you got?
So I got boom. Forma boots. I know. I don't think I sent you anything on this. You're like looking at me like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Man? I got nothing. So I'm gonna just hold them here. These are Forma adventure boots. I always I won't ever forget Bobby's comment, which is, do they have them in men's style? He said those are cute. Do they have them in men's? I got these actually specifically for when we did the BMW review.
Yeah.
I wanted something that I knew was going to be waterproof, that was kind of an adventure boot. They sent them to me, and I was a little bit, and you can go to formaboots.com, by the way, check them out. I was a little concerned about the fact that they're big, they're bulky. They don't feel big and bulky. They're not that heavy. But I just thought my feet would be so hot in them because I was in Gettysburg in July. So it seemed like just a terrible idea. But I rode with them every day, pretty much all day long. And they did great. They don't stink. And for whatever reason, your feet are actually pretty ventilated. The pictures in the issue that are on the newsstand right now. I rode through some pretty considerable amount of water, and they did great. So anybody out there that's looking for a kind of adventure boot, I know we've got people that have all sorts of different bikes out there. I know it's not necessarily our core audience, but it's a good boot, to ride with. Kind of with whatever you're riding. So
I love it, man, because it reminds me of the old leather high point boots. Remember old high point motocross boots?
I would be lying if I said I did.
Oh, wow! You're helping show my age out here, Ken. You're killing me.
Pretty sure I'm older than you. I just came to motorcycling a lot later than you.
So listen, coming up here, I mean, Ken and I are both, we're working on different media creation all the time, man. Me with the magazine and with video and stuff. And Ken actually hosts a thing called Forever Two Wheels. And it's a podcast series that he's quickly been amassing a volume of information, a library of the people, places, and things of our culture. And it's really, really cool to actually consider the fact that, like, decades after we're all gone from this, there's going to be an audio library with the voices and the stories firsthand from these people, man. And like, it's incredible. If you haven't checked it out, you should. But I know, more importantly and most presently, you have a podcast just launched with Chris Summer-Simmons.
Correct. And actually a lot of these shows that we do are available on that podcast platform as well. We're trying to really kind of hone it. We just haven't figured out the audio part, but we're getting there. The one that I did with Chris at AM Expo was great. She's somebody that I've wanted to have on for a long time, but it always seems like when we're at events, we're both really busy, and we just had a lot going on. And I just happened to go up to her with Chris and said, "Hey, do you have time?" And she's like, "Yeah, right now." So we did it in the middle of AIM Expo. You get to hear her whole story in a condensed version. I think it's about 35, 40 minutes long, but it's a really good story. And, Chris and I learned a bunch. I had no idea that the magazine that she started actually morphed into what is, womenridersnow.com. So, which Genevieve Schmidt runs and owns. So, really cool kind of motorcycle history stuff.
The greatest thing too is like, I knew a bunch of Chris's story, and just like a bunch of people that we're constantly in contact with, a bunch of their story, and you just consider that you know the story, and every single time I sit down with her, I learn more and have more respect for, how she got through all that, because those were crazy, crazy days. Nobody was making money in motorcycling back then.
Yeah, agreed. The one thing that, I will say is that, shame on me for a few interviews that didn't happen, and hopefully I won't choke up. But the fact that I didn't, when you and I went out to breakfast with John Green, or lunch with John Green, I was like, God damn it, I should just come back here tomorrow and get the interview. And
I miss John every day.
Yep,
every day.
I'm just kicking myself in the ass for not doing that. So I'm trying to amass as many of these as I can. It really is for the good of the sport,
really
for, kind of that history, and letting people know what's what. Gloria, I want to get her on the next time I'm on the East Coast. It's happening. There's a whole bunch of people that I have had, there's like almost 60 episodes out there with everyone from, Arlen Ness to Keanu Reeves. So go check them out.
Hey, so real quick, I got to give some props out over here on the Facebook thing. I see my boy Willie T. Jones has joined us. Boss, what's up? Sending people down there for Biketoberfest. If you're in near the area or just don't even have anything else to do, get in your car, get on your motorcycle, and head down to Willie's Tropical Tattoo and hit that bike show. If you haven't been to a Willie's Chopper show, man, you're missing the boat. I hope you have the best time down there, man. You guys all had such a hard time coming through the storm, and we're just trying to push some more people down your way to help you get through it. So check out Willie's.
Definitely. You want to try call Will Ramsey?
Yeah. Let's, I think.
And I'll go over this helmet real quick. So there's been some time on social media recently. There's been some discussion about full face helmets with communications available. They're not for everyone, right? But I know a lot of people who ride long distance. They love having a full face helmet. They love the ability to be able to either answer phone call, listen to music, whatever. This Schuberth E1 is the best full face helmet that's got an integrated communication system. So you can see here, everything's on the collar. So it's all built in. You actually put that collar in. You take the regular collar out. You put that collar in. It is a huge pain. It's not easy. But, man, the helmet's comfortable. I rode it that day that I rode 1,200 miles. I had it. It's a fully modular helmet. And super comfortable, really easy to use, fits really well, really quiet. Just super quiet in there. And I can't tell you how much I love that Schuberth E1. There's also a C3 Pro, which also takes that same. This one actually comes without visors, so it's more of like an adventure type helmet. But this one, I really like that helmet. So I know you're smiling about something. What are you smiling about?
Dude. I am 1,200 miles. 1,200 miles. We skipped right over that. Like, I don't think we talked on air about the fact that you broke your high mile.
Well, it wasn't really. It was 11:29. I'm
right?
lying. It's 11:29.
But it was 11:29. That gets you your first 1,000 mile in a day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I can't say. And it was the day of the full eclipse, and it was amazing. It was not what I was intending on doing that day, but it was cool. And you can read all about that, I think, in the issue that's on the newsstand now, right?
Coming up, yeah. The one that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, the one it's not quite out yet. That's right.
So, hey, our next guest we're going to bring in here is Mr. Will Ramsey from Faith Forgotten Choppers. And Will, I'm lucky enough to call him my friend, my trainer, and he's also one of the InMotion builders. And we're going to dial Will up here and try to get him on the phone and talk about some of his
Thank
crap.
you for calling Faith Forgotten Choppers.
I'm going to see if I can get if I can listen to this through my phone.
Oh, that's nice.
This is Will.
Will, what's up, buddy? You're on the air with Chris and Ken in the weekly report.
How you guys doing?
Good, baby. How are you?
I'm good.
So how are things there in New Albany, Indiana?
We're busier than shit.
Yeah, this is internet radio, man. You can let loose a little bit.
They're busy as hell here.
So, hey, we just got off the phone with one of your counterparts at the InMotion show, Mr. Bill Dodge from Bling Cycles, and we're talking about having a show with guys that are not only some of the most talented guys I know in the industry, but guys who are as serious about riding motorcycles, and how, like, this is a really unique first-time show. I'm super, super honored to be involved with you guys on this.
Well, I'm super stoked that this show's coming to fruition.
So, little over a month out. Where you at? What do you got?
I got a lot of work to do.
That seems to be a consistent theme.
Oh, I got a lot of work to do. Hell, Bill's done with his bike. All he's got to do is make sure it's running good.
Yeah, he said he's going out to start his tomorrow or today. Today he's getting his started. So if you're that far behind him, you better hurry.
Yeah, I got a roller.
So, what are you thinking as far as some of these other guys though? Like who do you have your eye on? Is there anybody that you think is going to pull ahead of the pack, or what do you think?
From what I've seen just on social media, Ryan Gore is just massaging every part on his bike right now, and he builds rideable bikes. He builds great bikes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's putting together, because he's just putting little snapshots up, but he's just doing a lot of that hand sanding, organic, stainless steel parts that I just love. And, his craftsmanship's, he's pushing it. He's got the time right now, and he's really putting the time into that bike.
Yeah, now Ryan Gore, for anybody that's not familiar, if you want to look up some of his work, that's Paper Street Customs. And Ryan's been on our cover
Twice.
once and twice, yeah.
Featured? Or was it cover second time?
Cover once and featured once, but I'm
Okay.
a mad fan of Ryan Gore's. I mean, the stuff that he does, it's just like Will said, he massages every piece and part.
Yeah.
There's so many details in this stuff. It's like whole other level, it's sick.
Yeah. And I know what Jeff's bringing, and it's it's one of the top 3 bikes he's ever built in his entire career. So
that's Jeff Cochran from Speed King. Yeah, we got.
Yeah, it's Speed King times 1. Like, he stepped it up to another level on that bike, and it's nasty.
Well, I'm super proud, man. Like I said, not just the fact that most of you guys are really close personal friends of mine, but the level of craftsmanship that I've always seen from all of your work. But then to know too, like it says in the ad for this thing, but they all got to run. So yeah, we're giving away $10,000. There's going to be a bunch of other prizes. It's big name builders that are very accomplished in their field, but they all have to run. And I mean, from a builder's perspective, Will, what does that mean for you?
So I stayed quiet about it for a few years and just was frustrated with it. And now that I'm established enough and comfortable enough in my position in the industry, I've spoken out a little more about it in the last couple of years. But I have a real problem with shows that especially shows. I have no issue with exhibition shows, but I have a problem with competition shows, big money prizes, where guys show up with non-running motorcycles, unfinished motorcycles. and feel like they have the right to stand there and compete for $10,000, $20,000, whatever the prize may be, 5, 10, whatever. And it's almost an arrogance that's kind of frustrating to me. Now, that's not to say that, we all miss timelines. I miss timelines all the time. I'm way the hell behind right now. But there's been a few builders that have shown up at shows with an unfinished bike, and they choose to display their bike but step out of the competition, and I find that very very correct and very admirable of them.
Yeah.
But there are guys who have won shows, countless shows, with non-running motorcycles, bikes that weren't built to run, never ran, bikes that I can take one look at and tell you, well, I could break that in 50 miles.
Right.
And I love the guys in the industry that don't do this professionally, that just do this, just spend their time build one bike. I love that. Those are my customers. I build them frames. I build them front ends. I build parts for them. And I love those guys, and that's a lot of what the magazine is about. It's the guys who just build their own bike, and I love that. And they have every right to go to a show and spend the whole year building one bike. It's awesome. But build a motorcycle. Don't build an abstraction. If you're going to build something that's not quite a motorcycle, take it to an art exhibit. Don't take it to a motorcycle show, because if your bike doesn't run, I'm going to call you out on it. So from a professional standpoint, because I do this professionally, this is what pays the bill. Every day, I come in this shop, my mechanic Kikoa shows up, he's running the service side, I'm doing fabrication. Every day we do this to pay the bills. And there's a lot of other cats out there that do the same thing. Bill Dodge, Jeff Cochran, Ryan Gore's doing that now. He's set aside his other work and side jobs and trying to make this a profession. And from that standpoint, the bikes that I build are for customers, and they are bikes meant to be ridden. And they're show-worthy bikes, but they are meant to be ridden. And the bike I'm bringing to Artistry and Iron is for a customer of mine in Maine. That bike will go to my customer after the show. Yeah. And it's, it's not an out-of-pocket build. It is a custom. It is a Faith Forgotten Chopper's proper build for a customer, meant to be ridden, which he's going to ride the shit out of it. My bike, Against All Odds, that I built, that it's on the cover of Cycle Source right now, that guy won't stop riding that bike. He rides that bike nonstop. Like, that's his daily rider. He beats the dog shit out of that bike. And it's, that's the stuff. When I first was coming into the industry, there was an interview back in the day with Indian Larry, who's, there's very few people in this industry, especially on our side, in our genre, that can't say Larry wasn't a huge influence. But Larry made the comment that the best thing about building bikes is finding a way to be an artist within the confines of physics and the tolerances you have to hold and all the rules of building a proper motorcycle. And people have gotten so far away with that, with these outrageous bikes that aren't bikes. They're abstractions, and I'm all for artistry, absolutely. And I'm all for, innovating something new. But man, it's got to be roadworthy, and it's got to work. Yep. And if you're just doing it so it looks cool, and you can tell your friends about it and put it on social media, then I'm not going to give you a whole lot of respect. And I'm probably going to call you out, because I think it's really damaging to the industry as a whole for people to, for these guys to continue this, and for the show promoters to perpetuate this by not asking the people to start their bikes, by not requiring some sort of a run. And that's what gives so much integrity to a show like In Motion, because we're going to ride the bikes. We're going to ride them far enough to bring them to temperature. Yep. Then they got to sit and cool down, and we get to see who's going to piss oil and who's not.
Right.
And that's real life, because that, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I haven't built a bike where we take it on first test ride, bring it back in the shop, and it's spitting oil everywhere. That happens, but that's part of building a bike. You got to work those kinks out, Yeah, it is. So I'm excited to be involved with the show. I think it's the best direction this industry could go. The avenue of artistry has been stretched and will continue to be stretched, but if you can give it integrity too, then that's the right direction for this industry to go, for us to get back to selling more and more choppers and see more and more pieces of art on the road,
absolutely,
being ridden. It's going to take shows like this to bring it back around.
Let's face it, because at the end of all of it, if you have the most beautiful, most expensive motorcycle in the world, but if you don't have the simple pleasure that comes from taking it down the road and having fun on it, then it's just a shame. That's a damn shame.
Well, yeah, one of the things I remember,
30, 40, 50, some of these guys are getting more than that for a chopper, and you go to bike night, and you're over there kicking your ass off or punching the button, or your bike's not running, you spit oil all over the place. Yeah. Well, you don't look so cool anymore. Your bike doesn't look so good anymore. Doesn't matter how many shiny little handmade stainless parts are all over it. Yeah. If the damn thing at bike night is shitting oil on the ground, or not starting, or not running, or running down the road backfiring, and you can't keep up, and all the guys on stock bikes are just pulling past you.
What'd you have, Ken?
Oh, now I was just going to say, the Slant Artist show that Jeff Decker did a few years ago, he had a great perspective on this because I was talking to him about, if motorcycles are art or not. And, he's an artist and obviously, an avid motorcyclist. And he's like, most definitely not. He's like, motorcycles are machines that are meant to be ridden. They're not art, Yes, they can be artistic. He's like, but they're not art.
Yeah.
And, I don't know that I would go so far as to say that, but I think that the functional motorcycles that are out there and the ones that I appreciate the most are the ones that I see getting the crap ridden out of them.
Yeah.
That to me, that's a real motorcycle, that gets just ridden hard.
Yeah, I personally would stand in opposition to that comment and say that I do consider myself an artist in my design work. I just feel like, as Larry said, that we're artists confined by certain rules that just don't need to be broken, I just don't feel like they should be broken, but I like to view it as art still, as functional art.
Sure.
But I think that the form has to follow the function, and that's sort of the key. And I can see where people say, oh, it's not art, it's a machine, and especially guys that just like to ride hard and ride old dirty bikes, and, there's a love and a passion for that, and I certainly admire that and have a certain amount of that in me as well, but what I produce and what I build for my customers and what I take to shows, in my mind, is art built within the confines of being functional at the highest level that I can perform next to a stock engineered motorcycle, and keep up, ride with anybody at any time, but still have that Faith Forgotten Chopper style that's recognizable, that I've designed something unique.
Right on, man.
Cool.
Right on. And I mean, when you're sitting there talking about it, I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes that came out of from Indian Larry about this whole thing was the gizmo-ness of it, and like, right, without the gizmo-ness of it, yeah, it's just not cool. I didn't like, particularly, I'm not down with the whole, sort of modern motorcycles with the smoothed out lines and everything sort of molded together in all one block. I like the gizmo-ness of it. I like to see all the intricacy and, the use of negative space and the actual machine going on and all of that design,
Right.
Well, buddy, I appreciate your time today. So month out to In Motion. We're all going to be getting together in the great Lone Star State down in Galveston, Texas, and pretty excited. Big stuff there. Big stuff.
Well, I'm not going to sleep till we get there because I got a lot of work to do.
No sleep till Galveston.
I got a lot of work to do.
All right, man. Well, until then, listen, Will is, I'm lucky enough to say, too, he's our tech editor for the magazine, so he brings his craft to the pages every month. You can check him out there. You can also check him out at Faith Forgotten Choppers on Facebook and his website at faithforgotten.com. Will, man, thanks again. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
today.
thanks, Will.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ken. You guys have a great day.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
See you, bye.
So pretty big, man. Like there's a lot of great energy coming up here with the whole In Motion thing. I'm super fired up about. Super excited for this show.
We should totally get Ryan Gore and Cochran on next week.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Just
about what's up, So it's good to. I haven't actually ever met Ryan, even though we live in the same state. But he lives way on the other side of the state.
So, listen, so many of our industry friends on Facebook today, Pat Jansen, Gina Woods, Sarah Liberty, George Frizzell, George the Painter, what's up, GTP? Billy Grotto in the house. Yeah, Billy Grotto, no sleep till LSR, Billy says. Mr. Breeder's in the house. You guys, I appreciate it. Share this stuff and push it around. I can make the announcement, finally, that we have picked a day. We've picked a day.
Well, except next week, Chris. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We picked a day. Thursday is going to be our day. Every Thursday from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do the weekly report. So we'll be putting some stuff up on
water. We're doing it.
Right? There you go. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and helping us push this thing. Send us comments, send us whatever you want. I think for the
suggestions.
Yeah, there you go.
Suggestions about, if you've got ideas. We're trying to get some people to come on to kind of sponsor some stuff on here where we can do some motorcycle rights, et cetera stuff. So anybody out there that's interested in doing that, let us know.
For the next couple minutes here while we wrap up the show, we're going to take a few calls. If you're by a phone, have a phone, you want to call in, ask Ken or myself a question or give us some news, 724-230-4732. That's 724-230-4732. We just got the call-in number today, so I have nothing on the screen to share with you to put that number up, but I'll work on that for next time. You can pass your comments along through Facebook. Send us some emails, whatever you want. I mean, check me out through CycleSource. Check Ken out through IamKenandFabulous.com.
That is not my email address,
No.
but I'm getting that website. Somebody probably already got it.
Right?
Info at forever2wheels.com for number 4 and then ever and then 2 and then wheels.
Right on. And hey, man, like I said, Ken's library of the Forever Two Wheels podcast is really an impressive thing. If you got somebody you want to make sure that gets the nod from the history books and motorcycling, make sure you get them in touch with Ken, get an interview set up so we can get their voice and their story recorded, because that's an awesome thing that you're doing there.
Sure. Yeah, it's really fun. It's been up for several years and I've taken time off of it. And, it's really, as the production of it, it's the sitting down with people is the best part of it, and everything else I hate. But it's also not that easy to find, somebody who, can take an hour out of their life to sit down and kind of tell their story. I'm hoping to, dedicate myself to that a little more this year and get more of those interviews that I really want to get. So I think, unfortunately, it's going to require me going across the U.S. and just kind of doing that.
Damn.
Yeah, that'd be the worst, right?
So I'm actually going to use technology and put that phone number up on Facebook and tell you guys one more time. It'd be nice if we could try out our new call-in number. So 724-230-4732. We'll wait for one call to come in, and then we're going to wrap up the show for this week. See if we get one.
Come on, anybody.
Come on, man. We just want to try out the damn number.
Yeah. Exactly.
Get a call in, 1-800-CALL-CNK something. Okay, Gina's trying to help us out, too.
Yeah.
People take pity on the poor dumb bikers doing broadcasting.
Exactly.
All right, well,
they're not broadcasters. Although the way you said that number, 724-585-7732. Yeah. Got to use your radio voice. All right. Hey.
I think we have a call coming in.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, you're on the air with Chris and Ken, the Weekly Report. Who's this?
This is Heather. So I have a question about In Motion.
Okay, you have a question? Go ahead.
You mentioned that a lot of these guys you were lucky enough to call your friends and your brothers.
Uh-huh.
How is the show going to be judged to make sure that you're not giving it to your favorite friend or your best friend?
Yeah,
Can
see,
you
that's
explain
another
the
thing.
judging process?
And we haven't got into that a whole lot yet, but that's another thing. Like, it's important to say that the builders asked me, a bunch of the builders got together and asked me about this show and asked me to try to consider putting something together. And not only was the criteria of running motorcycles important to them, but the judging. Peer judging is one thing, industry judging is another thing, but how do you come up with a system to judge people who are absolute masters of their craft? Well, we came up with a 3-part system where we do peer-based for part of it, industry-based where we have some experts from the industry come in and they give their opinions, but then a larger part of it are going to be members from the crafts that are going to come in, guys who run machines, who weld, who build things, are going to come in and they're actually going to judge these motorcycles based on the execution. So I'm really, really excited about that because it's going to be as honest as it can possibly be. I mean, I'm sure there'll be somebody pissed off at me at the end of it, but I think it's our best shot at it.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. I was just wondering how that was going to work because I know sometimes they do complain about it being a popularity contest, but it seems like you've taken that factor out of the equation.
Right? And so what somebody might think is, the best bike out there, somebody else might not, and so hopefully what you've done is you've mitigated some of those like ridiculous things that you and I have both seen where it's like, oh, the first place, goes to a big dog chopper.
Yeah.
You're like,
and my cousin Butchie.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, huh?
That's awesome. Everybody give Butchie a big hand for his $10,000 trophy.
Exactly. Like, what just happened here? That's the strangest thing ever. Anyway.
Yeah, well, Heather, we appreciate your call, and if you will just give your address to the receptionist on the way out, we're going to hook you up with one of those Hog's Blood oil changes.
Wait a minute, she is the receptionist.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
All right, see ya. All right, Ken, take us out of here.
Cool. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time, Chris. This was really fun once again, and we're here with the weekly report. See us again next week, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here.
All right, man. I'm Chris.
I'm Ken.
This was the weekly report.